Today we're going to talk about what is probably one of the most common and most significant mistakes that law firms make in their social media presence in particular, and it's having significantly negative impacts upon the success or otherwise of the campaigns that they're running. My name's Chris Hargraves, I'm from Known, Liked and Trusted, where we basically do law firm marketing all day, every day, and this problem is something I see coming up a lot. So what is it that we're talking about? Well, fundamentally, you probably know that as a human being, you connect well with other human beings by interacting in some way. You might crack a joke, you might share a story, you have a degree of vulnerability, and okay, it takes a little while to build trust, and it takes a little while to actually have that back and forth where you know where someone's thresholds are on certain topics or certain styles or certain interactions. Maybe some people are more able to be teased in a friendly way than others. Some people are willing to participate in a certain kind of humor, but others are not. But you get to know them because you're having those interactions and you're demonstrating personality and you're testing the boundaries and you're seeing how things are going. That is fundamentally also how most legal practices are built. At some point, an individual or a group of individuals have gone to the market with themselves on the line, and they have had meetings and they have made phone calls and they have had a lot of coffee and they have probably had meals, and whatever has happened, they have interacted with people in a way that has built trust. Okay? Yes, it's in the name, known, liked and trusted. They are building trust because of the way in which they are interacting with people. A lot of the time, the law firms who are now some of the more conservative, which is what we're going to talk about in a minute, in terms of what they're prepared to put out there under the firm name, are actually built off the back of people going and drinking heavily with other people, or going to races and betting heavily, or the sorts of things that typically, funnily enough, a lot of law firms don't necessarily want to boldly associate themselves with in terms of behaviors and interactions. Now, here we hit the problem. At a certain point, when the individuals start to fade and the firm becomes the dominant area of the marketing. So we're now marketing under a logo or a brand or a firm name. What happens? We strip all aspects of personality out of the firm. We no longer use humor, we no longer interact in a human way, we no longer comment in the sorts of ways we would if we were doing it under our own steam. We certainly don't interact with people online in particular. We're talking about social media now. We don't interact with people online in our brand name the same that we personally would interact with them if we were talking face to face. And there is a fundamental mismatch there in terms of marketing ideology. At the end of the day, people buy services from people. And while I understand that your firm brand wants to build up its reputation in the marketplace, if you want to do so in a way that's going to stand out in any way, shape or form, you have to have some kind of personality. It doesn't need to be extreme, it doesn't need to be risque, it doesn't need to be over the top, but having a sort of personality of any kind will propel you far beyond what most law firms are doing. What are most law firms doing? Most law firms are going to make a bland comment. They are going to share an article. It is not going to be funny. They're not going to let jokes get through the content mediation committee. They are not going to use any form of interaction online that might possibly not be professional. And this is where it becomes an interesting thing, because the people who are saying that it wouldn't be professional are the same people who are quite happy to go to a networking function and drink 27 rums and Coke. So there is a mismatch in the way that you build relationships. This one over here has worked. That's how your firm has gotten to the stage it has gotten to. But you are now taking that and doing something that's not that in your online presence. Now, I get, of course, that firms don't want to be out there doing things that are demonstrably foolish or silly or stupid or offensive to a wide variety of people. But you can find ways to have some kind of personality in the way you express things, in the way you interact with people. Heck, for a lot of people, even just responding to comments that are made on your social media posts, if you're lucky to get them, would be a step up in terms of demonstrating that somewhere behind the logo is in fact still a group of humans who have human experiences and can interact in a way that doesn't make you sound like a robot. So, What is the lesson? The lesson is this: marketing works in a particular way. You know how it works as a human. Don't take all of the humanity out of your marketing efforts, and in particular your social media efforts, just because you are posting under the firm name. If you can find a way to balance the desire for the firm image to be kept professional and still have some kind of personality, some kind of way of interacting that shows that a human is there, then you're going to see much more significant results than you would if you decide to keep it fully bland and fully unengaging, because that's really the end of the story. If you aren't engaging, there's enough other things that people will be able to consume that are frankly more fun and more interesting to do than your bland, lacking in personality material. Okay? Get some personality back into your marketing. Do it in particular on social media, even if you're publishing under a brand name. It is possible. You can thread the needle a little bit if you have to, but just step it up a notch and you'll see that it will make a significant difference to the kinds of things that are happening in terms of your social media campaigns. That's all for today. I'll see you next time.